Hello and welcome to our special broadcast called Champions de Paris Olympics, as we are all set to witness the biggest sporting extravaganza at Paris this time. 117 Indian athletes are vouching for glory at the global competition, and this time the aim is to create a double-digit mark. So in the next half an hour, we will get you news, views and reports straight from Ground Zero on Paris Olympics. Let's get started. We are just few hours away from the glittering opening ceremony of Paris Olympics, which will take place on River Seine. Athletes will parade on boats equipped with cameras for an up-close view. PV Sindhu and Achanta Sharat Kamal will be the flag bearer of the Indian contingent at the opening ceremony, which is set to create many records. Let's get you a detailed report on how Paris is gearing up for the mega event.
Paris Olympics 2024 promises an unforgettable experience. It will be the third time the French capital hosts the Olympic Games after 1900 and 1924 and comes exactly a century after the last time the city staged the Games. For 17 days, the world will be captivated by a showcase of athletic prowess and sportsmanship, embodying excellence, friendship and respect. The opening ceremony of the Paris Olympic Games 2024 will take place on 26 July with the closing ceremony on 11th August. Said to be the first Olympic Games opening ceremony held outside a stadium, the 26 July celebration will transform the French capital into a grand stadium and theatre as the traditional parade of athletes takes place in boats along the Seine River. India has a formidable contingent of 117 athletes, hoping to better its impressive medal haul of 7 from Tokyo 2020. PV Sindhu will be the flag bearer of the Indian contingent alongside ace table tennis player Achanta Sharat Kamal.
Waiting for the 26th of July when we'll be leading the Indian contingent in the opening ceremony in Paris. So it's been a moment which, since the last 3-4 months I've been dreaming about, visualizing. So I'm pretty excited that I'm going to live that moment, and especially I'm going to do that with PV Sindhu. So it's a fantastic moment, I would say. And how about you?
Yes, I'm very happy to be the flag bearer also with our fellow Indian Sharat Kamal. It's a proud moment for both of us, and of course it's a one-time opportunity for anyone to be a flag bearer and obviously representing our country. It's at the Olympics, standing there right in the front holding Indian flag. So it's a very proud moment for both of us, and of course he's like a super senior to me. I've known him for a very, very long time, so it's always nice to be holding a flag with the fellow Indian.
Around 10,500 athletes from the territories of 206 National Olympic Committees and the IOC Refugee Olympic Team will take part in the Olympic Games. A total of 329 medal events will be held, with 35 venues hosting the events in Paris. Breaking makes its Olympic debut at Paris 2024. There will also be new events in athletics, boxing, canoe slalom, sailing, shooting and sport climbing. From 32 overall sports included in Paris Olympics, India is participating in 16 disciplines. With the spirit of over 1 billion supporters behind them, these athletes embody the aspirations and dreams of a nation eager to carve its name in Olympic history. As they step onto the grand stage of Paris 2024, India's athletes aim to inspire and achieve glory, striving for excellence in the ultimate celebration of human potential and perseverance.
The city of Paris has left no stone unturned to make the opening ceremony a grand event. It is one opening ceremony, but it has several firsts. An opening ceremony on a river, an opening ceremony outside the stadium, an opening ceremony which is open to many spectators, an opening ceremony which is athlete-centric. So we are hoping that this opening ceremony will mark a start of a new era in the Olympic history. Camera person Senthil, Narayan Singh for DD India, Paris.
So now let's quickly take a look at what all is going to make this opening ceremony even more interesting. There are many aspects of it. We will take a closer look of it through the help of this video wall and understand the different aspects of how this closing ceremony is going to be really important. So let's talk about it. Paris 2024 marks a milestone in the history of the Olympic Games by moving the ceremony out of an Olympic stadium and doing that at a river. This is happening for the very first time. Not only this, the International Olympic Committee, or the IOC, they had to really amend its article, which is called Article 54.1 of its Olympic Charter, to make this provision workable for Paris organizers and moving it to the Seine River from an Olympic stadium. Now, another very interesting fact is that there are 5 delegations which will be led by only one single representative. These 5 delegations are Belize, Liechtenstein, Nova, Somalia and Tuvalu. All of them would be led by a single representative at the opening ceremony, and there will be 12 artistic displays throughout the show highlighting the French and the Parisian heritage to the people who would be joining the opening ceremony in physical presence and who would also be joining through live streaming and other platforms. Now, apart from that, to make it more feasible for the viewers and for all the fans, 80 giant screens will be set up along the Seine River for this very important occasion, this very special occasion. And moving on, if we talk about it, there will be total number of 85 boats which will be mobilized, and all the delegations will be traveling in that boat along the 6-kilometer long Seine River area. Moving on, there is one more interesting fact. There will be 120 cameras which will be used to record the ceremony live, and which is 3 times as many as in Tokyo 2021. So this is going to be a really visual spectacle when we talk about the opening ceremony. So 400 OBS, or the Olympic broadcasting staff, they will be mobilized to bring an extraordinary evening to the viewers, making it a spectacular evening for all the viewers who would be enjoying it on television screens. And apart from that, 3,000 artists, including 400 dancers, will be performing tonight alongside the Seine River to make it a visual delight, a visual spectacle for the viewers. 326,000 spectators can be accommodated on the banks of the Seine River. So this is the number who can join alongside the Seine River there in France to witness the opening ceremony of Paris Olympics. Moving on, there is very important and interesting fact about this. And first of all, let's take a look at this quick map of the Seine River. How is it going to look? This map has been released by the International Olympic Committee on the official website of Paris Olympics. This is going to be the entire blue line that you can see here. This is altogether the 6-kilometer long stretch, which is the stretch of the Seine River. If we talk about it, starting from here, the drive will be starting from here, and this is the official stand where all the IOC officials as well as all the officials of the different countries will be sitting. And apart from that, this is the protocol and show. This is the area where all the entertainment acts will be taking place. These icons that you can see, these are Notre Dame and other important icons, the historic icons which everybody would be witnessing alongside the 6-kilometer stretch on which the entire contingent will be traveling of each and every country. These are the areas where the people will be sitting and watching the show. These are 2 designated areas for that, and apart from that, the journey will end over here. And to facilitate all this, more than 120 cameras have been placed alongside this 6-kilometer stretch. So this is how the Paris opening ceremony is going to take place at the Seine River tonight in France. So now, not only this, the Paris Olympics are also bidding to become the greenest games ever, with the medals made of iron and other important elements. Let's take a look at this next report that tells you all about how Paris Olympics is going to be the greenest ever.
The Paris 2024 Olympics Organizing Committee has pledged to host an environmentally friendly games for the world. The organizers have promoted Paris 2024 as the greenest Olympics ever, aiming to halve the carbon emissions of previous Olympics.
What we can see here, and I'm here for more than a week, and wherever you come and go, you see that the lights are on green. The preparations are going very well. The stage is set.
The Paris Olympics organizers have drastically cut back on building new stadiums and venues and have relied heavily on wood as a building material for new infrastructure and used low-carbon concrete.
Several of these events are now taking place in temporary stadiums and venues that have been built across the city. Incidentally, some of the games will obviously go outside the city of Paris to other areas. It's also the most sustainable Olympics ever, because they haven't built this mega infrastructure all around, which usually are not utilized afterwards. They've built an Olympics village in the most depressed part of the Paris region, the poorest part of the Paris region, in a way to revitalize it. And they've built an aquatic center. Everything else is either in temporary venues or on renovated old structures. And of course, the farthest venue is several time zones away in the Pacific, in the Tahiti.
Let's understand how Paris is going greener to make it the most eco-friendly games. 95% of all Olympic infrastructure is being fully reused. Temporary stadiums have been built near famous landmarks to make use of spectacular setting. Only one permanent venue has been built, the Aquatic Center. The Aquatic Center is built largely from carbon-storing timber, covered in solar panels, an advanced water recycling system. The Athletes' Village will be repurposed afterwards as social housing. Over 60% of meal options will be vegetarian, helping to lower the carbon footprint. The Olympic venues will be powered exclusively by renewable energy. 90% of the products used for Paris 2024 come from recycled materials or will be reused later.
The 2024 Paris Olympics, with its groundbreaking sustainability initiative, will likely leave a lasting impact on the global environment. By setting new standards for eco-friendly practices, the Games are expected to inspire future host cities and international events to prioritize sustainability. Ultimately, the Paris Games could act as a powerful catalyst for environmental action, fostering a global shift towards more sustainable and resilient future. With camera person Senthil, Narayan Singh, DD India, Paris.
So the Indian contingent in the athletes parade in the opening ceremony will have 78 athletes and officials from 12 disciplines whose teams are currently present in France. Indian Olympic Association's president Dr. P.T. Usha and chef de mission Gagan Narang have given top priority to the athletes in the composition of the contingent in the athletes parade. All the athletes who made themselves available will be a part of the parade, and many have competitions on Saturday, and the Indian Olympic Association, they've been respectful of their decision to prioritize preparation and not taking part in the opening ceremony. PV Sindhu and Sharat Kamal will be the flag bearers of tonight's opening ceremony. And now to bring us the latest from Ground Zero, I am joined by DD India correspondent straight from France, Paris, where the opening ceremony will be taking place. Narayan Singh joins us, and we also have with us Mr. Malay Nirav, who's the esteemed guest of tonight, the expert who would be giving us expert analysis and talking about today's opening ceremony, the grand opening ceremony of Paris Olympics. So let's have both of them together with us on this show, Narayan and Mr. Malay Nirav. Both of us joins us. First of all, Narayan, coming on to you. How are the preparations going on, and what are going to be the star attractions for tonight? We know that there was a security concern, but having considered that, we heard the IOC president also, who says that stage is all set.
Stage is set for the coveted games in Paris, and it's the 33rd edition, and Paris is hosting the games for the third time, and exactly 100 years ago, they hosted the Games in 1924, and it's, we can say that a centenary of the Olympic Games for Paris. And all in all, Paris is ready to host the Games. Everything is in place. If we talk about the opening ceremony, will take place at the Seine River. We know that it will start from the bridge Altres and will be at near the Eiffel Tower, where the final protocols will take place. And all in all, it's a different thing. First time it is happening on the bank of a river, as we mentioned in our report also. First time in the history of the Olympics, the ceremony will take place outside the stadium. So it's the opening ceremony of the several first outside the stadium, secondly on a river bank, and third, it will have the more spectators than the previous edition of the Olympics, because it will take place in the complex near the Seine River, and because of that, people can go and visit there. But the security measures are very high considering the threats. And we know that it's an important event, and delegates and state heads of many countries will be there. So all in all, preparations are ready, and Indian's contingent of 117 members is also ready to shine at the coveted games in Paris.
I would now like to go across Mr. Malay Nirav. Sir, when we talk about tonight's show, the grand opening ceremony, many records have been created, and Paris is trying to do something different this time. Seine River is just one example. If we talk about the security also, India is also putting its best foot forward. How would you analyze and how would you rate this entire preparation, and also the initiative somewhere to make it even greener when we compare to the previous editions of Olympics that has taken place so far? Mr. Nirav.
Look, the Olympic movement itself, when it was started, ever since it has existed on this earth, has carried a very strong message of peace, harmony, tranquility, brotherhood, and that message needs to be given to the people of this world as strongly as possible. Now, there's a paradox here. First, you are taking the Olympic opening ceremony out of the stadium. Second, this is one of those Olympics where they're saying there's a lot of security threat. So what is the world going to get in terms of a message from the organizers of the Olympic? That when it comes to Olympic Games, it does not believe in dividing people. It believes in bringing them together. And it is a forward-looking movement. So it is one of the greenest Olympics that we have ever had. Now, if you look at the whole picture which emerges tonight, about which we have all been hearing and listening, now, the best thing that comes to my mind is that the Olympic movement is true to its charter, has changed, amended its constitution, brought in new things together, and now you see here a kind of a sea, an ocean of sports persons and people from different parts of the world getting together at one of the most beautiful sights that I have seen in my lifetime. I have covered all the Olympics from 1992 till the last one, and this one I'm watching from here. I'm not there in Paris, but Champs-Élysées, Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame Cathedral, you know, every building on that 6-kilometer long walk is a monument in itself. And each of these monuments reinforce the message of the Olympic. And this is the best part of Paris Olympics, where people from the sports persons, the people whom I regard as those who instill the Fevicol effect.
Indeed.
Join the people together.
Indeed.
They are on the streets.
Right.
To say we are one.
And that is what the Olympic Charter also aims at. Narayan, coming on to you, 117 strong Indian contingent, along with a very strong number of the officials also who are accompanying the entire contingent this time. Take us through the entire composition of the Indians who would be representing the country for that glorious event, Narayan.
Largest contingent India has ever fielded in the Olympics. Last time the number was 121, and this time around it's 117, despite of the fact that women's hockey team is now there. Otherwise, it would have been crossed the 130 mark. But all in all, we can say that our athletes are capable to break the record of the Tokyo Olympics, where their record was the best of the winning 7 medals. And right now, we are just behind me is the athlete village where athletes are staying. So here also we can see the officials are also there. But there is a limitation. How many athletes, how many officials can be there, how many accredited athletes, officials can stay here. Because of that, the Sports Authority of India and the Sports Ministry has funded the remaining support staff outside the village so that they can help our athletes anytime. If you talk about the ratio of the athletes versus support staff, right now it's 1 versus 1. So this shows that how much we can say that effort our government is putting so that our athletes don't face any problems. And beside that, us expert of 13 medical experts are there to help our players 24/7. And we know that what kind of practice our players have done. They were outside India training. Few players are training in Germany, few in Sweden, some are in Switzerland. So a foreign exposure is also there. And this time when talk to athletes, they are saying that they are totally ready and fully fit to take part in this Olympics, and we are hoping that the kind of preparation, the hard work is done by our athletes. Definitely, this time they will set new records at this edition of the Olympic Games in Paris.
All right, thank you so much, Narayan, for joining us and bringing us the latest straight from Paris. And in a few hours from now, the Olympic ceremony will begin. Going back to Mr. Malay Nirav, sir, when we talk about government support here, the kind of funding we've seen across the years, the kind of foreign funding that the government has helped the athletes with, and now also this is a new benchmark when we talk about the 1:1 ratio of players is to support staff who would be accompanying and who are accompanying rather the entire contingent at the Paris Olympics, despite knowing the financial constraint, the kind of funding that we've been having that's really improved over the years. What do you have to say about the entire support of the government for the athletes every time for any edition of Olympics?
I've never seen this kind of a support coming from the government before. As I told you, I've been covering Olympics since 1992. And I take great pride in saying that today the 470 crores which are being spent on these flag bearers of India at the Olympics, this is a record amount of money. And there are two important things here. First, that when our athletes go outside India, and then they train there with the best possible trainers, and they rub their shoulders with the best in their fields, the kind of exposure that they get, acclimatization that they have is what is needed if you want to reach the medal podium. That is number one. Number two, the support staff. Let me give you one small example. This example is from the Indian hockey team. We all keep saying and we all keep hearing that the Indian hockey team at the last moment does something wrong, is not able to defend, it's not able to convert the opportunity into the goal because of the mindset, because of the psyche, because of the psychological pressure. You know who is there for their mental fitness, for keeping them headstrong? Paddy Upton, the same fellow who was the Indian cricket in the trainer for the Indian cricket team in 1911 when they won the World Cup. So this is the kind of emphasis that you see being given to the Olympic sports by the government, and they have taken it as a serious business. It's not only top scheme and other things, it's not only wishy-washy, a few things here, a few things there. They pick up. Mirabai Chanu would not have won that silver medal, and nor would she have competed in this Olympics had she not been treated by the world's best doctors, had she not been given the best coaches. Neeraj Chopra has the best coaches being made available just because, and he was training in Germany and several other places. So where is the money coming from? The government. The government recognizes, identifies a talent, supports it at every step, and this is remarkable.
Indeed. All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective along with a comprehensive analysis of how the government is extending their support to the entire Indian contingent. And this is a very interesting fact that the 2011 World Cup winning team's trainer is there accompanying the entire contingent at the Paris Olympics as well. Shows the kind of support and the intention the government has for the entire contingent. Now, ahead of the start of the opening ceremony, International Olympic Committee's President Thomas Bach said that the games and sports in general were not only about sports but about peace, respect, solidarity. Now, it is the first international summit dedicated to sports and development for future generations, and the agenda covered education, health, equality, financing and sustainability, among other things. Meanwhile, the world will turn its eyes on the city for the opening ceremony on the Seine River tonight. The show will be attended by more than 80 heads of state and government, and more than 300,000 spectators will watch from the river's bank.
The Olympic Games are about sport, and they are about more than sport. Sport is health, sport is inclusion, sport is respect, sport is empowerment,
Le
Sport is
c'est
solidarity.
l'autonomisation. Le sport, c'est
Sport
la solidarité.
is peace.
Le sport, c'est la paix.
Tomorrow,
Demain,
you will all witness
vous
athletes
serez tous
from the territories of
d'athlètes
all
des territoires,
206 national Olympic
comités
committees
nationaux olympiques
and the
et
IOC
l'équipe
refugee
olympique
Olympic team coming together,
tous et
competing
toutes vont se
fiercely
rassembler,
against each other,
vont s'affronter
while
avec
living
acharnement,
peacefully
tout en
together
vivant pacifiquement
under one roof
ensemble, sous un
in
même
the
toit,
Olympic
dans le
Village.
village olympique.
This sets an
C'est
example
un
for how our world
bon
would be
exemple de ce
if
qu'aurait
everyone
notre monde si
would
tout le monde
respect
respectait
the same rules.
The entire country is cheering for Team India, who are participating at the Paris Olympics. The Assam Olympic Association on Thursday congratulated Lovelina Borgohain and all the athletes of the country who are Olympic bound. The event was attended by State Minister Piyush Hazarika, Assam Olympic Association General Secretary Lakshay Kunwar and Indian Boxing Federation Secretary Hemant Kalita. The event also honoured shooter Sanjana Barua and swimmer Elvis Ali Hazarika. Addressing the gathering, Hazarika said he is extremely hopeful that Lovelina will bring a medal for the country.
I'd like to wish our daughter, our sister, Lovelina Borgohain, who had secured a silver medal in last Olympic as well. But I'm extremely hopeful this time also she will get medal. She will bring medal to our country, and she will bring medal to our state. I am learning from media sources that India is going to bid to arrange Olympic in 2036. As a public of India, as a citizen of India, I'll be very I'll be very happy if that will come. It will happen. I'll be extremely delighted.
That's it for this edition of DD India's Champion de France. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on your screens to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Deepika Mehta, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching this special broadcast. Keep cheering for Team India at Paris Olympics. Namaskar.
Twists and